Welcome to Bear Down Ballers. I'm your host, AJ Bramlett. Got my super producer, Ryan Wall, with me again, and our Cats are on the rise, my man. Excited for this week.
Yeah, it's great. Arizona is now ranked number 11 in the country. They jumped up for number 17. And, just in under a month throughout the first month of the season, they went from unranked to almost the top 10 team in the country, AJ. What do you think about all this?
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. And like it reminds me, it does of my freshman year. We did the same thing. We were unranked, and then got to play some big time games early in the season, and went from unranked to like number 3 in the country in a short amount of time. And it's fun, man. It's fun when you're fighting kind of against everybody. You're the underdog, and then they've shown already that they haven't sat on their laurels after getting that ranking. I mean, just continue to play consistently, continue to play with that effort. That's a good sign to see.
Yeah, and let's get into their first game off of the Roman main event tournament, where we know they beat at the time number 5th ranked Michigan, and they had a game. They had a little. They had about a week off time after the Michigan game. They played Sacramento State this past Saturday. They won 105-59, big 6-point victory. Just break it down for me and everyone. What'd you think of the game?
I mean, it's been consistent, man. The thing that you notice most is their assist to basket, ratio, and they're leading the nation right now in assists, per game at a team standpoint. I think around 23 a game, and that's a sign of a really good team. And we saw it, at the beginning of the season, and we were like, okay, maybe against this competition that's an outlier, but it's been consistent, man. It's just how they play. They share the ball. They run, they move. Guys are cutting to the basket when they need to score easy baskets, and they're just playing a really good brand of basketball right now. And they don't have those real lulls that a lot of teams have, and I haven't seen it yet. Even the Michigan game, they played from tip to the final buzzer, extremely hard. Well, a lot of times you see it, especially in those blowouts, that it's up and then you let off the gas a little bit. Team comes back, makes a run. Like we haven't really seen that against them yet this year. And that's a sign, of good coaching from Tommy Lloyd and just the effort and the accountability from the players.
Yeah, the effort, the coaching has just been incredible so far throughout the first few weeks of the season with, Tommy Lloyd, his first year at Arizona. But the thing that stuck out to me of this game, in a blowout, there's different things you could take away, but I took away the 3-point, shooting. They were 9 for 17, 53%, which is incredible because we've seen them shoot low 30s, in the 20s in some games. What'd you think about that? Because, if they can get the 3-point shooting down, it really, I think it could take them to the next level. What about you?
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. But they've done most of this without shooting great from the 3-point line most of the time this year, and that's a good thing to have. I mean, if you're still going to execute at a high level, be able to score that many points, and have that many assists, the 3-point shooting will come. It comes and goes. I mean, and you don't want to be a team that just relies on that, 100% of the time. And if we make them, we win. If we don't, we don't. But and we're not that team. So if they knock them down, they knock them down at a high rate. That's just a bonus. But they're getting good looks is the good thing about it. They're not taking forced threes. Guys are open because of the ball movement and the offense, the way that they're playing offense right now. So, it's fun to watch. It's a fun style of basketball to watch, like we've been saying, pretty much all season long since the first game. And, they've got some good games coming up, and they're more, challenging games, and Pac-12 season started. And, I don't see them, relaxing or taking their foot off the gas. And we're just looking forward to seeing, what happens with those matchups coming up.
Yeah, and I think we finally could say, let's talk about some of the players. We finally could say after 6 games, Christian Coloco is the team's best player, no doubt. He's the most consistent. He's been doing it every single night. And even this game, 20 points, 7 rebounds. And AJ, that was only in 15 minutes of play, 8 for 10 from the field. I mean, just what more is to say about, how great Christian Coloco is?
I mean, the best thing about it is the consistency, like you said. It's now that's the player who Christian is, and he's put in an immense amount of work, both mentally and physically to get to this point, and you just like to see that because he's a good kid. What I mean, and now really he's always had that side of him, and now you're getting to see it. You get to see him blossom, and just when that confidence comes for a guy like that has all the physical tools and talent, then it's just something special to see. And, I've just been extremely happy for him and, obviously for the team because he's just playing at such a high level. And he's really the anchor of that defense where, guys can pressure out front. And, if you get beat, doesn't really matter because he's challenging shots back there, as well as Umar doing a good job too. But of just making it tough on opposing offenses every time they get in the paint that they have to worry about him, and that you don't know what kind of difference that makes, on an offense on the other side of the ball where they just have to start looking around and where is he? That just makes a huge effect on the game, and he's been doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, and as he's been growing into this role, it's been great that they're getting him the ball more. And, because last year he had, through his first 2 years, he's had up and downs, but they never really had that focus to get him the ball. And now they realize that Christian Coloco, the best version of this team is when Coloco is dominating in the paint. Another player who played great, is Jules Tabellas, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 9 for 13. It's like AJ, does the Arizona Wildcats have the best front court in college basketball?
I haven't seen a better one yet. You know what I mean? As a tandem, like the things, the way that they complement each other. Azulis is just extremely efficient. Plays hard every single night. Like he's just has a knack for scoring around the basket, always in the right place. Runs the court extremely hard. Both those guys, I think they're the best running bigs for sure in the country. I mean, both of those guys are on a dead sprint every time a rebound's up or they get a rebound. Even the last game at Sac State, Christian got the rebound, took a dribble, threw it up, and then ran for the lob. Got it back and got a dunk. And like those are the type of things you like to see. Those guys play hard, man, and that's from a big man standpoint. I love to see that. And they're tough. I haven't seen a better 1-2 punch this year. I've watched a lot of college basketball so far.
Yeah, I think their bigs are up there with any in the country. It seems like you agree with me. But another guy who had his best game by far as a Wildcat is Pelle Larson, transfer from Utah. His first few games, he was banged up coming off of a leg injury, but he looked great. He had 17 points, 6 for 7 from the field. He made three pointers. And, if he's hitting shots like that off the bench, it could be a dangerous, thing to stop.
He's a really good player, and him playing with confidence just gives them another dimension. Coming off the bench, so that much more firepower. He's a really good passer. I know he hasn't, he showed that kind of in flashes, but as the game slows down for him a little bit, and he learns a little bit more on about his teammates out there. I think that's going to elevate as well as you'll see him make some more facilitating plays out there. But he's a good shooter. He's got good size, plays hard, and he's a luxury to have coming off the bench at that position if he can keep playing at this high level.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, 3 of the starters didn't play very well. Mathurin affected the game. Mathurin and Terry and Kirk Reese, they all affected the game in many ways by hustling, passing. Mathurin was really good at that. Some of the best I've seen from him, but it's still going to be hard. Do you think it's going to be hard for them to pull out games and win games if those 3 your starters, their shots aren't falling?
I mean, you could run into that situation. Obviously, it's a long season, and you're going to have those games where guys are off. But like the luxury that we've talked about is they're deep. You know what I mean? And like even in this game and every game, like there's guys that can score 20. Like, Justin Kier could come off the bench and score 20. Pelle Larson could. What I mean? So they have a lot of offensive weapons that have the ability to kind of explode when other guys are having an off night or whatever. And I'm sure we're going to run into those things, during the season because it just happens. It's just, some nights guys are off, some nights the ball's not going in, and that just happens. But, they have a ton of guys that at the offensive end are just very efficient and smart players. And so, I think they can fend that off in most cases. But when all your guys are off, and it happened, a couple times when I was, at U of A, where all our guys were off in one game. It's tough to overcome. But these guys are built, I think, for the long run and a long stretch run this year.
Yeah, I wanted to move on, and I want to talk about the grand landscape of college basketball and where Arizona, fits into that picture. Do you think they have a real shot to compete? Because right now, as we mentioned, they're ranked 11th. How do you think they can match up with a potential Duke, a potential Baylor, Purdue, and UCLA, who they're playing later this month?
I mean, I've watched a lot of college basketball so far this year, and there's not a team out there that I don't think we can match up with. and that we would have a shot to beat. And it's because of the style of play that we play, like we mentioned before, the assists and the way that we move the ball, and how hard that we play every single possession. And so, obviously that Duke Gonzaga game was a heck of a game the other night, and Ben Caro is elite talent, special talent, and Holmgren played really well. And both of those teams are very high level, but I look at our team and I say, who can match up with, Ben Caro? I think we have a guy that can. You know what I mean? Who could match up with Mark Williams?
Who do you
I
think
think we could.
would guard Bancaro? Dalen Terry?
I think we would mix it up. I think Dalen would be on him, and then I would think, maybe even a little smaller defender like Ben sometimes, and
Yeah.
then just mix in the help from the bigs. You know what I mean? Try to funnel them in, but we have the quickness and we have the length. To try to match up with. I mean, he's a number one pick. Candidate. He's tough, man. I mean, 20 points in the first half. He showed who he is and why he's in that range. But I just think that we have the size, the length, the athleticism, and the drive and basketball smarts to be able to match up with any player, that's playing in college basketball right now. And so, all those teams are good, though. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there. Purdue is really good. I watch them; they're tough. I mean, Baylor's obviously always strong, and Duke and Gonzaga have shown who they are. And obviously, we have to match up with UCLA once it comes Pac-12 time, which will be a great matchup for us as well. But if we keep continuing to improve at this rate, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to compete, deep into March.
Yeah. So you just mentioned briefly UCLA, and I think actually Arizona matches up well against UCLA. UCLA has a lot of great scorers: Johnny Jusang, Jamie Jaquise, Tiger Campbell. They have a lot of great scorers, but I feel like Arizona is becoming a really good defensive team. Do you feel that too, and feel like that can maybe be their edge over some of these tougher teams?
I think we've seen that so far. I mean, look at how uncomfortable they made Michigan. I mean, the entire game, and it's because of the quickness and the length, and really the connectivity on the defensive end. Like our rotations have been really good so far this season. Guys aren't breaking down and missing the second rotation, or helping on on a driver pick and roll. Guys are in their spots. They know where they need to be. The communication on the defensive end has been really good. So if you can hang your hat on playing that type of defense every single night, you're gonna have a good chance to win. And so, and look at, I mean, Michigan was totally uncomfortable, the entire night. And that's because of the pressure that we put on them. And I think we can do that against anyone because of the athleticism that, we possess on the defensive end.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy, AJ, to just think about it here, because in the first year of the Tommy Lloyd era here, we mentioned going from unranked to ranked 11 in the country. Do you really think that Tommy Lloyd could get Arizona in just 1 year back to, a top 5 to 7 program in the country with maybe with, say, they win the Pac-12 or go to the championship, even if they lose, and say they have a Elite Eight, Sweet 16 trip?
I don't think it's out of the question at all, because of the style of play that they're playing. And if you're looking and you're a recruit out there and you see that's how you want to play, man. You want to play fast, you want to play free, you want to be able
Smart.
to throw lobs from half court if guys open. I mean, that's the type of system you want to play in. You want to play with guys who have high IQs and that play hard. And we have all those ingredients so far this year, and it's so early in the year, but they're playing at a really high level. So they're going to continue to focus on the things in practice and the fundamentals and the details that are allowing them to play at this high level. So I don't see why not. I mean, you want to go somewhere where you're going to have fun playing basketball. These guys look like they're having fun playing right now.
They do. And AJ, this coming Thursday night is Arizona's first Pac-12 matchup against Washington. Terrell Brown Jr., former Wildcat of last year. Any other final thoughts before the upcoming Pac-12 schedule starts here in the next week?
I think it's just been fun so far, man. You know what I mean? We talked, before preseason, before the season even starts, of what we thought the ceiling would be, for the team so far, and they've exceeded all expectations so far. and really just the effort and energy that they've been putting out there is something special as an alumni. That's what's fun for me to see is the guys having a good time with that A on their chest and just really representing well and going out there and playing a style of basketball that we all love to watch. So if they can continue doing that, the Pac-12 is always going to present some challenges, and it's a different level of intensity. But so far so good, and hopefully we can keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, that's for sure. And AJ, tell us who our special guest is coming up next on the program.
Yes, sir. We've been talking a lot about him on the previous pods, and we're going to get the spark plug in there. Mr. DALEN TERRY will be joining us next on Bear Down Ballers. Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now's the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season tipping off, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the Bet Rivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call telephone 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Hey, we're going to welcome into Bear Down Ballers, my guy, DT, DALEN TERRY, man. How's it going, brother?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Just you said you had a good workout in, got some extra makes in today working on that game, I see.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm just going to jump right in, man. Coming out of high school, you had some offers from, some schools like your junior year, like Cal, Marquette, ASU. I know you're from the Phoenix area, so ASU was on you heavy. What kind of went into the decision for you to, push that off for your junior year and wait till your senior year to commit? And what ultimately, got you, to be an Arizona Wildcat, man? I was here in Tucson.
Obviously we have a different staff now, but the last staff, I always it wasn't like I've always been recruited by ASU. I really wasn't recruited by U of A until my junior year, like the end of my junior year. But being from Arizona, like as soon as that's like the Duke of the West Coast, like us, UCLA, them big schools on this side is just like it's like when they call, it's serious. So
Pick that
at
phone up.
first, oh God, so it was like at first, like like a recruitment process, being a high school kid, I feel like I was a little bit more mature than a lot of other kids. Like I knew, like these coaches just gonna tell you what they want to tell you, and you gonna listen to it. And I'm like, nah. Like I knew, I knew like the right people in my circle told me what questions to ask, and I can really tell that the Arizona staff liked me because they were annoying me. It got to the point where like I'd be asleep, they'd be calling me, FaceTiming me, showing me workouts, and I'm like, bro, like no other school is calling me this much. Like, and everybody was calling me, all the staff was calling me. So it was just like, you know what, how can you not go to somewhere that you loved? And it's right around the corner from my house. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think obviously you made the right choice. What I mean? It's been a pleasure to have you. I got to spend a little bit of time with you when I was in town, for Coach Olson's celebration of life. Got to watch practice and see you do your thing there. And I've had Coach Tommy Lloyd on the podcast, as well as I had your man Mike Bibby on last week, and we were just kind of talking about your game, and they just talked very highly of you as not only a player but as a person. And the one thing that stands out, kind of to myself and them as well, was your energy on the court and what you bring, that energy to a team. And I just wanted to ask you, like, is that something that you've always done, like growing up, or is that a skill that you developed, or how did you, become the player that is just playing that high energy all the time, every second you're on the court?
I feel like I've always been like an active player, like always trying to do a lot of things. But then I feel like I got away from it a little bit last year. I was just like, being a freshman, you're young, you just don't know no better. So it's just like you're worried about the wrong things. And then like this summer, I had to like reflect on myself, and I had to really see like what everybody else on the team brings to the table. And I'm like, okay, what can I bring to the table, and how can I stand out in a certain way? So I just know every night I'm gonna bring energy and guard real good, just play my heart out every day.
Yeah, well, that's showing obviously through the beginning of the season right now. And watching you guys, to me, it reminds me a lot of our championship team, in '97, just the way that you guys play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you push the ball, you play extremely fast. You're looking for lobs all the time, which I love. That's back as a part of the way that you guys play. You don't doesn't seem like you run a lot of set plays. It's more, read, react, and playing off of your guys' skill set. Talk to me a little bit about, the style of play that Coach Lloyd has put in, and how you feel like you fit into that so far this year.
You definitely like it. It's like I like the style of play. I like running. I like the lives. I like all that because that just gets me more amped up for defense. So um, just running like that pace, and then we come down and we send a million ball screens. I just know like we get tired sometimes as a team. So I just know the other team is exhausted. So it's like I know nobody else can guard what we're doing. So we just listen to what coach says, and we just all the concepts he says. He just puts us in a lot of different situations where you have to read and react. And so far in the season, we've been succeeding like that. So let's keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they score, I mean, you guys are getting that ball out quick off the court, easy baskets, feeding those big guys that are running. Christian's been doing a heck of a job at
Yeah.
that. Azulis, those guys have been running hard. You guys have been rewarding them. So it's been a fun thing to watch. Another part of your game that, I see being utilized more this year is your playmaking ability. And I know in high school, like, I think you averaged like 11 assists your junior year, almost 9 your senior year, which is, those are outstanding numbers for a high school kid to be averaging that many assists. And now it seems like you're in better position to kind of utilize that skill that you have. Like, talk about that and your ability to facilitate more. And is that something that, coaches like talk to you about, or is that something that's just kind of come about with the varied style of play that you guys are playing this year?
It kind of just came out, like I like passing the ball. I like when I throw a lob to Christian, I feel like I scored. So it's
Yes,
just like
sir.
so it's like I'm not really tripping on like no points or nothing like that. I just like to see everybody succeed, and me passing is a way I can just get amped up. Like when I know like there was a play, I don't know what game it was, but Ben went for a back door and he just dunked it like real hard, and the whole zone is zooming crazy. And I felt like I scored. I feel like I dunked with him. So it's just like coaches keep saying, let's keep doing what I'm doing, keep facilitating the ball, just keep moving it. And obviously, like, don't force it. But when you have open play, make the right read every time. So,
Yeah, passing the ball is contagious, man. I felt the same way when I was playing, man. If I could drop a dime to somebody and they could get an easy dunk, man, just it energized the whole team and just
yeah.
got me going too on the defensive end. So I know what you're talking about there, man. You played really well against Michigan, and probably the biggest game of the year so far. And you're always consistent with your effort on the defensive end. And that's something that's contagious. One of my favorite things when you lock it up at the top of the key, you got your clapping going, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you can tell that the other guys are getting ready to lock up behind you. And just
Right.
being a leader on defense, where did your love of defense come from? And like, have you always been that way growing up? Did you follow any like defensive minded players, or is that just something that you've always enjoyed doing? Like, talk to me about kind of your defensive style and how that came about.
Honestly, like I remember playing defense when I was younger, but it wasn't like to this point, like
Yeah.
I got to that point, like when I got like I turned like I was like a junior, like 16, 17, and that was when like rankings were like high. And that was when like kids would like actually look at it and see like who's better than you, like or who's listed above you. So like I went to Hillcrest and we were playing a lot of marquee like matchups every night. So it's like I would look at them and be like, who they got above me, and I want to guard him every time. So it's like Coach Bibby and then even the coaches before that at Hillcrest, they always would like let me rock when it comes to that. Like he would tell me like just don't get in foul trouble or whatever, but they let me like take it personal. So now every time coach is talking about a scout or something and somebody averages a lot of points or he's like a high volume player, that I already know like they're gonna let me guard him, and they just tell me the same thing every time: just stay solid, amp them up, speed them up, all that. Just don't foul, So
Yeah. No, I love it, man. Like that's my part. Locking up it takes a special kind of player to really want to take on that challenge every single game of guarding the best guy and really shut him down. It shows that you got a lot of heart and you want to work out there on the court. So keep that up, man. You're doing a great job with that. I know you just said you came from a workout now. I know you have dreams and desires of getting to the next level and going to play on after college. And what part of like your games are you working on currently that you think will help you get there? And what is the coaching staff wanted from you that's going to help you to continue to improve at the rate you are?
I just honestly, I just want to keep being like a high volume guy in all categories. Like I'm not really tripping off getting like 20 points, 15 points. It's just like I just want to I'm okay with having 8 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, like something like that. I'm cool with that. It would be cool if I got a double or something like that. So it's just like I obviously want to score a little bit, but I just let the game come to me, just keep trying to get stronger so I could like last through the season, play defense on bigger defenders, guard everybody on the court, and then just tighten up like my ball handling skills so I can still make the passes. And then obviously my shooting, just want to be able to knock down open shots when they leave me open and be able to create for myself sometimes and just create for others.
Yeah, I think that double-double's right around the corner for you, man. So just keep being aggressive and doing your thing. I know growing up, I had my favorite NBA players, guys I kind of patterned my game after. Who are your current guys that you watch, and what pieces of their games you kind of try to take and place into your game, or do you have those?
Yeah. I mean, when growing up, I watched a lot of Kobe, and now obviously like he passed away, rest in peace. But before almost every game, like I watched like some like motivational like defense, like how serious he was on defense. Because not a lot of people really know like how he took it like personally, and I feel like I'm trying to adapt that to my game. And then I've been watching a lot of like I like a mixture of like bigger guards, Paul George, like how a lot of two-way players actually. Paul George, Mikal Bridges, Coach Ricky Foyce, he worked him out when he was at the Suns. So, he's always talking to me about how I could be similar to that, even better than that. So I watched a lot of his film on defense, and then even offensively, like Mikal Bridges isn't the type of player to get 25 points a game. He's just gonna be a solid player, lock up the best defender. And if it's his night, it's his night. And he's just willing to bring what it is to the team. And I feel like my role this year on the team that's exactly what it is. So that's who I've been watching a lot.
Yeah, I like those. Those are all good examples, man. And
Mhm.
it hasn't been surprising to me, but you guys, I think, have surprised some people nationally and across the country on how well you've played so far. And one of the things that I noticed most about you guys, even since the first game, was it looks like you guys are having fun and that you guys
Yeah.
like each other. And I know you're probably one of the guys that inspires that team chemistry, keeps guys loose, keeps guys together. So talk about your teammates and the culture that's kind of been established so far, and and how it's been established so quickly with you guys this year.
Yeah, I feel like this year we really like brothers for real. Like we all talk to each other. It's a little like obviously like teams have a little bit of cliques, like a couple guys hang on a couple guys, but for the most part, everybody is cool with everybody. Like we texting constantly in the group chat when we're not together, So and it's not like we talking about serious stuff all the time. We goofy, like everybody's cool. And I think that kind of built it through the summer because a lot of us were here a long time during the summer. I tried out for the USA, so I was gone for like a couple weeks, and then Ben was obviously at Canada, and then Umar was in Mali. So it was a couple guys that were like in and out of Tucson, but for the most part, the whole team we were together for a long time. So it's like we're all comfortable with each other. Like we have like a lot of meetings like with each other just to talk about our feelings, even if there is nothing wrong. We just meeting stuff like that. Like we watch the games together. Like we text in the group chat if it's another big game going on. Like who wants to watch the game together? So I just feel like it's a real brotherhood. Like everybody's just treats each other the same. It's like nobody superior. It's just love all around.
Right, man. I love to hear that, man. It's showing by the way you guys are playing, man.
Yeah.
One thing I did see, I saw you had a chance to play in the crossover summer league up in Seattle this summer. I think you played with Paolo Banchero, right?
Yeah.
A chance to do that. Like, talk a little bit about that experience and how playing with high level guys and against them just kind of helps your game develop and your confidence develop.
Yeah. I was trying to play. I was trying to play in the Drew League this summer and the crossover, but I didn't make it to the Drew League. But then Jet told me I could make it to the crossover. He called a couple people and said, make sure I was on the roster on the team. So all I had to do was get out there. And then I didn't even know I was playing on Paulo's team. And then I showed up and he was there. And we've been knowing each other for a long time. So that just kind of like relifted our friendship again, And then we were playing with a couple other like pros, Malachi Flynn, Marquise Chris. So it was cool playing with him and other pros and against other pros. And I felt like it was a way of me like testing what I've been working out all summer for and then showing what I'm doing now. Like when Paulo's on the team, like we're talking like about a #1 pick, like for real. He's gonna
He's
shoot.
legit, man. He's nice.
Right. He gonna shoot. Obviously, like I think he had like 35. I had like 32. And I was scoring off like hustle plays. Like he was
Right.
ISOing, like so it's like, and I knew that. Like I knew what type of player he was. So I'm gonna give him the ball and let him work. And we locking up our defense, we're running, dunking. Like there's a lot of viral clips of me throwing lobs to him, me dunking, him throwing it, So that was just a good way of me. Like I always I like pickup. I like playing pickup during the summer. So that was a good way for me to play like at the end of the summer just before lock back in on the season.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see y'all match up, man. Tournament, you know what I'm saying? Get back at it. That'd be dope. But yeah, okay. So I know you're busy, man. So last thing I'm gonna go at you with is, I know your personality has allowed you to kind of dip your feet into that NIL game, and you know what I mean. Like that's one thing that we always talk about. You know, Biv and Jet and I. That hey, man, we wish we would have that opportunity to participate in some of that when we were in school. So is that something that you enjoy, and how's it been for you so far? You looking to expand that? Like, how's that been?
Yeah, it's doing real good. Obviously, like I'm my own person off the court, so I like clothes, like I like just being different than a lot of other people. So I feel like the NIL has just gave me an opportunity to start earlier than I would until I get to the next level. So I feel like I'm learning everything with open arms. I'm open to a lot of things, but I also want to be exclusive to certain extents. So it's real cool. I never would have thought it would have happened in college. Like this rule would have
Yeah,
passed.
me neither.
So this is crazy.
Yeah, that's good, man. Keep building that brand, man. So that you get out of there, you're gonna have a good, solid foundation.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, man. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for joining Bear Down Ballers. Keep doing what you're doing on the court. Love to watch you play, man. Hopefully, we can get you back in sometime during the season. And just good luck, man. Way to go.